So after re-reviewing the Michael Bay ones, which were a lot of fun, 1 through 4 for the most part, and months since I should have already reviewed this damn thing, we can finally put the Transformers movies to rest. Transformers Rise of the Beast is the 7th movie in the Transformers live action series. It's a standalone sequel to Bumblebee and a prequel to Transformers 2007. This is based on the Hasbro toys of the same name and influenced by its Beast Wars sub-franchise. And it stars Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback and Luna Laura Velez. Features the talents of Peter Cullen, of course, John DiMaggio, David Sobolov, Ron Perlman, Peter Dinklage, Tongai Charissa, Liza Koshy, Pete Davidson, Carmen Domingo, Michelle Yao. You follow your two characters here, mainly Noah Diaz and artifact researcher Alina Wallace. And in this little adventure that they go on, they have to help Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and the Autobots face a new threat when a threat capable of destroying the entire planet emerges, and they team up with a powerful faction known as the Maximals. With the fate of humanity hanging in the balance, humans and Noah and Alina will do whatever it takes to help battle the Transformers, engage in the ultimate battle to save Earth. I was looking forward to Rise of the Beast because, like I said, with the Transformers movies, at least the first 3 movies, I do enjoy them. They're not the greatest movies ever, but I felt like they did at least satisfy me as an action junkie, even with its flaws and all. It's really Transformers Age of Extinction and Transformers The Last Knights where things really took a dark turn. And when it comes to Bumblebee was the one that brought everything back in the balance. So when I was seeing advertisement for this, I was actually really curious. You have Stephen Caple Jr., who directed Creed 2, which is a great sequel to Creed, and he's done a couple other things here. You also had Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback, who I know from In the Heights and Judas and the Black Messiah. And not only this was going to be a prequel to the original film, but this is also going to be a sequel to Bumblebee. Even though there's no Haley Steinfeld, that is a little bit of a frustration. I was still able to look forward to this and judge it for a new film. So, with that being said, let's talk about this movie. We were having the Maximals and the Beast Wars, and me not knowing a lot about the Maximals, I was still willing to give this movie a chance, even though I was a little skeptical. So I can confidently say, when it comes to Rise of the Beast, it's not better than Bumblebee. I still think Bumblebee is the best of these new Transformers Michael Bay ones. But I will say overall, Rise of the Beast is a fun little time for a Transformers movie. And a movie I feel like is kind of underrated here. Off with things I like here, I will say once again, it does keep that whole Transformers thing in check. But is once again basically going with the best of both worlds here. You have, on one side, it's being a prequel to the original film, but it's also being a prequel to Bumblebee and a sequel. And while you do miss the character of Charlie Watson, I will say right now, the thing I do like about this is, even though they do have a new character, this movie definitely still has a little mention of Charlie Watson here. So I did like that here. But you have your new characters. I liked Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback as Noah and Alina Wallace. I thought they had some very good chemistry, and I thought they had very good fun moments to them, and I thought they worked very well. They're not the best characters in the Transformers series, but I think they do just as good of a job as they need to, and they have some good moments in this, and they do a lot of great work in terms of the performances that they have in here. Luna Laura Velez, she is a good actress. Once again, I loved her in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, and she's been around forever, so it was good to see her in here. You also have Dean Scott Vasquez as the younger brother. You have Toby Nigwe as Reek and Sarah Stokes and Lenny Parker. All of those actors do a very good job in their said movie, and they all. What about the Transformers? Obviously, you coming for the Transformers here. You still got the great Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime. He's still very good in the movie. John DiMaggio as Stratosphere here. You also have David Sobolevo as Rhinox Battletrap at Apple Lake. And you still got the Scorponok and the Bumblebee here, which I'm glad Bumblebee is still consistent in all these movies, except for the part where I wish he would stop talking through the radio, and just like in the 2018 movie, let him talk through his actual speaking voice with an actor speaking. Also, we got some new cast members here. We got Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal, who is the Maximals here, and he's great here. Ron Perlman, one of my favorite actors. He's very good in here. I thought he really had a lot of moments where he gets to shine, and he really have moments where he was having fun here. You also got actors like Michelle Yeoh, Academy Award winner, of course, as A-Razor. She's a Maximal warrior who transforms to Falcon. She was fantastic here in voice acting wise. Peter Dinklage as Scourge, I thought he was really good. Liza Cozy, which I'm glad to see her get more acting work here, and she worked out to help her find the right voice for the character as the sharpshooter RC, and RC looks great in this. Michaela J. Rodriguez as Nightbird, and I will say she does a pretty good job for the most part. Coleman Domingo as Unicron, I like him as an actor here. This is the first time we actually get to see him after being set up in The Last Night, which they did it better here. You got Wheeljack here, the scientist, Christoph Fernandez, Tungayak Chirisa as Cheater. But besides Ron Perlman and Michelle Yeoh and Liza Cozy, my favorite of the characters was actually Peter Dinklage's Mirage. I like the connection with him. He's very fun here. I like he projects in the holograms and a Porsche 964 Carrera. And also, he has a mix of Bugs Bunny and also Jim Carrey's The Mask and his rebellious personality. So, and Pete Davidson is a lot of fun. He brings a lot of fun to the character. He's awesome, and I think he does a lot of fun in her. And he's just fun to watch in her. So, it's very awesome to see that they got him in here. All the voice acting and the regular actors were good here. The budget is not so high. It's close to $200 million, but you made $439 million back. But that's not a financial disappointment. It doesn't always have to be $1 billion. I think the problem with people why this didn't do as well is because we're still in that. People are still in that phase when it comes to this series that they can't move on from Michael Bay here. I'll say, I like the story here. The story is not the greatest you ever seen, but I think it's a very integral story here. I love the aesthetics here when it comes to the 90s aesthetic. Me being someone who grew up in the late 90s and the 2000s, that aesthetic works for me, and it does do a lot of what it set out to do. There is some fun action sequences. It's not some of the best Transformers action here, but I will definitely say it's definitely entertaining to watch with Optimus and the Maximals and the new threat that they're fighting here. There are some great effects 2 hours and 7 minutes. It is, of course, massively shorter. It is a great spectacle here. There's some good cinematography work here. Of course, your cinematographer here is Emmanuel Chediek, and I know his camera work from anywhere. He's an Ecuadorian cinematographer. Editing wise, it's really sharp and sweet, aside from one little issue here. You have Jognik Bontemps doing the score here. He's done some music before, but this is the first time I kind of have heard him do music, unless something I'm missing this time around. ILM doesn't do the effects this time around. You have the moving picture company, and then you have Peter Jackson's company called Weta, who does great effects here. And so they do some very good moments here. And they do have some references to the Transformers the movie cartoon. And then also you have some music elements from the first Transformers movie, which that was pretty nostalgic here. And also the authenticity of the film, you got rap groups like A Tribe Called Quest and Wu-Tang Clan. Like I said, the chemistry with Mirage and our lead guy Anthony Ramos, I like their chemistry. There's so much heart and so much passion to the robot with just his voice, and the animal robots look really good. There are some issues here. I will say there is some dialogue for time that could have been cut in the movie. There is some issues with dialogue that could have been cut and a little bit removed for some of the time here. Your characters again are not as good as characters like Charlie Watson and even Sam with Wiki, but they get the smallest amount of development for me to like them, and I do overall end up really enjoying them here. There is some slow pacing in the middle here, which I will get to, and I will say the third act does go on for a little bit too long, which I will say it does. You can do feel like the third act is going on way longer than it needs to go on, but overall, all of those issues didn't detract my entertainment factor from this movie. And the post-credit scene, I would actually be curious in that. Transformers and G.I. Joe crossing over, that's something I could actually get into. That would actually be cool. But overall, I will say Transformers Rise of the Beast is a fun movie in the series. It's not my favorite in the series, of course, but I will say compared to Age of Extinction and The Last Night, this is leaps and bounds better. I have tons of fun watching this. I have a great time when I get to experience this and I get to watch it. And overall, it just fits my criteria. The characters may not be the greatest. It does go on a little too long, and there's some issues there. But overall, I find Rise of the Beast to be a highly enjoyable sequel that continues on what made Bumblebee work for me and shows us what the Transformers movies can be when you give it to new directors. It definitely does have the usual stuff that's carried over from the Bay films, but it's nowhere near as egregious or such. If you are someone who missed this out in theaters, definitely watch this. You will have a fun time with this. I'm glad I saw it, and I will give this an Epictastic. Well, that's going to do it for the video that you just watched. I will have my channel here, so you would like to see anything here. Click the channel icon, subscribe for more. I will also leave a video and maybe a playlist here, so in case you want to see what I'm about. As always, stay Epictasticness, join the Epictasticness, and you guys keep it cool.